Happy 4th of July. I hope you're having a great day with your family, celebrating the country's 250th anniversary of forming the country. I have a thought about 4th of July. I think you might enjoy it. And I was reflecting on the Declaration of Independence, and maybe one of the most profound sentences ever written about freedom was the phrase that we hold these truths to be self-evident. That's in the second paragraph, first sentence of the Declaration of Independence. But the sentence then completes itself by saying that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So it's evident, these truths that are self-evident is the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. But what's interesting is that phrase that Thomas Jefferson wrote really originated with John Locke in his two treatises. And in those two treatises, what he actually said was life, liberty, and property. And Thomas Jefferson chose to change the word property to happiness. And so when Locke used that word property, he meant it to include personal safety, physical well-being, and economic independence. And Jefferson's revision was to expand it to include freedom from legal ownership to personal fulfillment, flourishing, and aspiration. But here's what makes it relevant to us is that property is still at the heart of freedom. And American is unique when it was back when this declaration was, written. Property was not a right. The ownership of property in previous governments and societies was not a right. But in America, we said, hey, that's a right. You have a right to it. It's not a privilege. And not only do you have a right to it, but that right is going to be protected by the rule of law. Your property can't just be confiscated. You have the right to own property, and anyone has a right to own property, and that right is accessible to all. That was a totally new concept. So, if you're in a mortgage or real estate, here's what we do. We are modern stewards of that right. How cool is that, right? And so, we help Americans claim one of the core tenets of our founding ideals. We help people pursue security, dignity, independence, and yes, happiness through home ownership. So here's my recommendation today. As you sit by the pool or you're at the ball game or you're watching fireworks, celebrating the country, don't forget to raise a glass to yourself and your profession, because what you do is more than a job. It's a calling rooted in the Declaration of Independence. So happy 4th, everybody.